Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is actually intended to be a vlog. I know a lot of you guys out there, and a lot of my videos really are more focused on reviews and products and stuff like that. But you know, I do want to get a little bit into vlogging a little bit and just kind of talking and hanging out with you guys, and kind of showing you what I do on the daily. I mean, right now there's not a lot of activity. I think a lot of us are staying at home a lot. But I thought this would be a good, fun way to, you know, me to get to know you guys to get to know me. Feel free to leave any comments down below. I definitely want this to be a little bit more interactive, so I may ask you guys some questions on what you guys have been doing lately and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, in this video, I wanted to talk about what I learned being in quarantine or during this whole like work from home, stay at home experience. For myself personally, I did work from home for 5 weeks straight, and then I did have a job change in the middle of all of this. So I have been going back to work and I've been at my new job now for 3 weeks. So that's definitely been a change for me, but what I really want to focus on is that 5 weeks where I spent at home. So here are a few things that I learned being at home, staying in like this self-quarantine state, and I just kind of wanted to throw this information out there in case like you're kind of feeling the same way about certain things, and also like a note to myself for the future on things that I might want to remind myself of. So the first thing that I wanted to mention was I am actually okay with staying at home. I think that was something that I didn't think I was really okay with before. And sorry, the lighting got kind of dark, which is weird because it's sunny outside, but I look a lot darker than usual. So prior to all of this self-quarantine, staying at home, working from home situation, I would go out a lot. And not like going out at night or anything like that. I'm definitely not like a partier by any means, but I just always felt like I had to go somewhere. And on the weekends, that was walking around at the mall or walking around somewhere. If there were little events popping up around, like food truck events or anything like that, I would try to go to those things. But obviously, you know, right now and for the past several weeks, there hasn't been any events like those. Things were not allowed. So, you know, I think in the beginning, it was really stressing me out. Like, I was just feeling super confined, like, oh my God, I need to go somewhere. But I mean, I stayed home anyway, and that was kind of driving me out the wall. But I've learned that there are some things that I'm okay with, you know, doing at home. And actually, now that if you know, quite some time has passed, I realized like, hey, I actually like staying home on the weekends, whereas before it would like drive me insane and I constantly needed to be doing something during the day. So I do think that that was a refreshing thing for me to realize, that staying at home is totally fine. I can definitely keep myself busy at home. There are quite a few things that I cleaned through and threw away. Like I did a lot of decluttering, which I probably should have showed you guys. That might have been kind of interesting. I did go through a whole bunch of really old makeup and makeup samples and just got rid of them because at the end of the day, I wasn't planning on using any of those things. I did do a video recently about how to be eco-friendly for free, or like how to incorporate some eco-friendly like lifestyle things without having to spend any money. And one of the things was to get less samples because I never use them. I'll leave a link to that video up here in case you want to check that out. But yeah, so I realized that staying at home and doing some of these things were actually really good for me. And so that kind of went into the second thing I want to mention, some of the activities I was doing at home that I found that I really liked. So I had a chance to catch up on a couple of shows that I was, you know, hoping to watch for quite some time. So that was a nice thing that I got to do. I also bought a 2,000 piece puzzle on Amazon, which that might sound like a lot. Trust me, I thought it was a lot too. But I did find it kind of therapeutic, where I was just focusing on doing something quiet. So I put on like some like classical or jazz music in the background while I was working on this puzzle. I did it for, you know, I mean, it took weeks to finish. And that's something that I realized I really like to do. I'm actually thinking about picking up another puzzle. After I finished that one, I was kind of good on puzzles for a while, but I'm thinking about picking up another one sometime soon. But I also enjoyed reading. There are a couple of books that I read and I'm still working on reading. And I did subscribe to Masterclass. So that's something that I've been kind of using as a tool in case, you know, there's a lot of quiet events that I can do from home that are a little bit more on the relaxing side. But if my brain felt like it needed a bit more of a challenge, I could always watch Masterclass. So it is, I will say it is a little bit on the pricey side. So it just kind of depends on how much you're willing to spend. But when I picked up the subscription, it was like a buy one get one free kind of deal. So I felt like that was a little bit more worth my while. And so far the classes I've watched I thought were very interesting. I think it just kind of depends, and something to keep in mind if you're going to subscribe and start watching some of these are they are taught by industry professionals, but these professionals may or may not necessarily be teachers. So it's not that like classroom setting feel. It does kind of feel a little more casual, and they're sharing their kind of like life experiences and career experiences that they've had so far, and other information that they can share about their fields. So I mean, if you're looking for something like that, I thought it was really great. If I was keeping track, I guess I would call this number 3. The third thing I wanted to mention is that I didn't realize how underprepared I was for emergencies until this happened. So, I mean, clearly, I mean, I've lived for quite some time now. I'm not calling myself old by any means, but there have definitely been other like natural disaster type situations that have come up. But I think this was a lot different from other things that I've experienced. Whereas, you know, in this case, we're needing to stay home, but it's not a natural disaster that took the power out or, you know, like eliminated some of those resources from us. But I also don't think that I have been through anything that lasted this long. So I think this has been going on like 2 months now, where we've been staying from home and can't go to, you know, events, and there are a lot more restrictions with shopping and going to the grocery store, and you really should only be going out if you need to and that kind of stuff. And what I realize is that I'm not really good at preparing from like a food standpoint. I'm not a person who eats a lot of like preserved or canned items just in general. I do prefer my food to be fresh, like salads and stuff like that. And that kind of made it difficult for me, or like to change my mindset, because I was really used to going to the grocery store every like 2 or 3 days, where now it's like you have to stock up for a while and try not to go. So I started to create a list of things that I might be able to buy. So let's say, for example, a bag of frozen vegetables and like pasta sauce in a jar, those kinds of things. I've definitely written those things down. And also things that, and I definitely know that there are people out there who like stocked up on toilet paper and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really do a good job on that either. I totally thought that I would be able to go back out to the store and buy those things. I didn't realize people were going to clean out the shelves completely, and the amount that I had I thought was going to be enough to last through this time, but it actually wasn't. I mean, we still have some items that we had just coincidentally on hand, but you know, yesterday we did go and pick some other things up that we needed. But one thing that I was thankful for is I do just, I don't know, by bad habit, I guess you could say, I tend to have a lot of like body wash, shampoo, and hand soap on hand, just like normally, and also dish soap and laundry soap. So I'm kind of glad I just do that already. But some other things that just very honestly I didn't realize I was going to need was more like personal care products. Not necessarily in the hand soap kind of way, but just other general items that you don't use every day and you just don't think about. So I mean, lesson learned and note to myself, I did start making a list like on Google Docs and stuff, so I can just like live on there for forever, hopefully. And I would suggest, like, you know, if there are things that you guys noticed that you needed throughout this time, you know, maybe start making a list so that next time you can go in a little bit more prepared, because that's definitely something that I was not ready for. The next thing that I'll mention is something that I thought was really interesting to kind of do some research on, I guess. Well, not really research, but find these things. During this time, I did feel the need to want to support local. I definitely have friends who have local businesses and they like couldn't go into work and have their normal operations, which, you know, to me is like just really crazy and unfortunate. Something that I thought was really cool here is a little bit more food related. So here in Hawaii, we don't have a lot of options for like, I think a lot of people, you know, out there use HelloFresh. So HelloFresh doesn't deliver here. I just think we don't have, you know, they may not have contracts with like grocery stores or whatever here to pack those kinds of items to send them to people. So I was not intentionally on the hunt for delivery services, but during this time I thought that it might be interesting to try some things out there that I started to happen to discover. So let's say, for example, there is a local farm here called Mari's Gardens, and they grow a lot of different produce items, and you can basically go online and check off what you want and then go and pick up your items from their farm. So it was a curbside pickup where when you arrive, you let them know your name and they bring everything out to your car. So that's an example of something I thought was really cool that came up. Another one, there's this butcher store called Butcher and Bird here, and they had like ground beef, steaks, all that kind of stuff, like sausages and things, where you could go online and order it and then go down there and pick it up, and like they would already get it all ready for you. You can just pick it up. Eventually, some of these types of local companies started to, I think, you know, collaborate with each other as far as like delivery goes, or maybe combining items into the same order and that kind of thing. And I thought that that was really cool. I thought it was nice. It was nice for me to see them using this as an opportunity to make new connections and find other business opportunities. So I have so far had a couple of deliveries to my home for like produce items, eggs and stuff like that, and that I thought was really good and made me feel good too to help support these local businesses. Also, just very honestly, it is pretty fun to try these things out as well. So I think that's kind of like, you know, knocking a lot of things off right there. You're getting food that you need, it's fresh, you're helping local businesses, and you're trying something new. So those are all things that felt really cool to me. What I would hope is that these businesses continue to do those kinds of programs and stuff, because I think that this could potentially be another line of business for them. And I also think that people would still like to get deliveries. Anyways, you guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Let me know down in the comments below if you have reflected on anything that you enjoyed doing from home, like realize like, hey, I like doing puzzles, or like, hey, I actually like reading a lot of books, or if there are any like cool subscription things or anything like that, delivery services that you found during this whole process. Let me know that in the comments below, because I would really like to hear what else is out there. And I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. I will see you guys next time. Bye.